Hello students, in lecture 17 of your course Elements of Discrete Mathematics. Today we'll discuss trees. A tree is in fact a type of graph, a specific type of graph that we are going to discuss in this lecture. So a connected graph that contains no simple circuits is called a tree. An English mathematician, Arthur Cayley, in 1857 used them to count certain type of chemical compounds. And from your classes, lower classes, that chemical compound suppose the simplest one if we discuss that methane. In methane there is carbon and hydrogen, 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 hydrogen. So in fact these represents the vertices of the graph, and these bonds represents the edges of the graph. So this formula CH4 can be represented with the help of a tree. And how this is a tree? Because if these are the vertices, there is no simple circuit at all. Circuit means there is no loop or no parallel edge, and neither a circuit of like that H and H are having any connection, so that they are not forming a circuit. So in this way, the formal definition of tree is given as follows. A tree is a connected, undirected graph with no simple circuits. Means a circuit-free, undirected, connected graph is called a tree. The simplest example of a tree is, you can say, a family tree. In a family we have the grandparents. Suppose we start from here, that these are our grandparents, grandfather, grandmother. Then after that we have our parents, maybe here father, and here maybe aunt, and then from father, father and mother. Mother is from some other tree. Then there are children, maybe 1, 2 or 3, like that. So it forms a family tree structure here. So this is also an example of tree. Family trees use vertices to represent the members of the family, and age represents the parent-child relationship. For example, here grandfather to this, you see, grandfather and grandmother. This represents a connection here. This age represents the connection. If I directly write it here, not like that here. So father parent child relationship is here, and if here is the son, then you see this again father child relationship is there. Age is representing the parent child representation relationship. And these are certain examples of graphs which are either trees or not the trees. For example, in the first graph G1, you can see that this graph is undirected, because there are no directions in the edges, that we can go only from C to B or B to C. In fact, we can go from B to C as well as from C to B. So there is no direction at all in this graph. So this is an undirected graph. Then you start from any of the vertex, and then you can reach any other vertex of this graph. For example, you start from A and you want to reach to the vertex F, then you can go like this: A to C, C to F. Suppose you want to reach from E to B, then how you can go? E to F to C to B, like that. So you randomly you can start from any of the vertex, then definitely you can reach any other desired vertex of the same graph. So I can say this graph is connected. So two things are there: it is undirected, it is connected. Now let us see, is there any circuit? Circuit means any closed path is there. So you can see there is no closed path, because all paths are open. There is no circuit at all. So all the three requirements of being a tree are satisfied by this graph. So I can say this graph G1 is a tree. This is a tree. Exactly in the same manner, all the conditions are satisfied over here. So this graph is also a tree. Now let us look at G3. In G3, I can see that this is undirected graph. There is no direction. And definitely it is a connected graph. From any of the vertex you start and you can reach at any other vertex. You can try this. Now the next thing, whether there is any circuit. Yes, there is a circuit. Suppose you start from E, then like that you are going to D, then D to A, A to B, and then again you can return to E. So that is why this part is forming a circuit. This part is forming a circuit. So I can say this graph is not circuit free. So this graph is not a tree, not a tree. Now let us look at this fourth graph. Uh, obviously this is undirected. There are no directions. Now let us see, is it connected? Now I want to go to uh, the vertex F starting from the vertex C. Just we start from C, we go to E, then we can go only to this place, this vertex, or to this vertex. We cannot go to this vertex F because there is no path, not from C to F, not from E to F, not from B to F, not D to C. So in any case, I cannot arrive at the vertex F starting from C. So that is why I can say this graph is not connected, or I can say this is a disconnected graph. So one condition is failed. So I can say that this is not a tree. However, this graph is circuit free and undirected, but it is disconnected. In fact, this is a disconnected graph. Disconnected graph. So that is why this is not a tree. So we can state one theorem in view of the definition of a tree. An undirected graph is a tree if and only if there is a unique simple path. Unique simple path. Simple path means no circuit between any two of its vertices. Between any two of its vertices. So in this way, we can think about a tree. The next definition is a rooted tree. What is a rooted tree? A rooted tree is a tree in which one vertex has been designated. One vertex has been designated as a root, and every edge is directed away from this root. So here, suppose in this particular tree, you can see one is designated, one vertex is designated A. A is an designated edge, and all the edges are moving away, or not moving away, are directing away from this A. A, B, A, F, A, G, and then further from these vertices we have further edges. They are uh, directed away from this root. So in fact, this is the root here. This is the root here, and that is why we are calling it as a rooted tree. Now from this rooted tree, we can also separate a subtree. Suppose this part, we are separating this part here, and consequently this thing is appearing over here. So you can say this is the subtree of subtree rooted at G. In this case, in the subtree, the root is at G. So this is the definition of a rooted tree. Now, a vertex of a rooted tree, you just keep in mind these definitions here. A vertex in a rooted tree is called a leaf if it has no children. Let us go back. Suppose this tree, here this vertex is there, then it has no further linkage, means it is not having further children. So this vertex in this tree is a leaf. This F is a leaf. Further here, if I'm looking at this I has no further children, no further linkages. So this is a leaf. Similarly, D is a leaf, E is a leaf, the vertex K is a leaf, vertex L is a leaf, and vertex M is also a leaf. Second thing, a rooted tree is called emery tree. if every internal vertex has no more than m children. Every internal vertex have no more than m children, then it is called an m-ary tree. For example, here you see, in fact, these are the leaves. These are the leaves, and the vertices which are not the leaves, these are called the internal vertices. These are called the internal vertices. For example, B is an internal vertex, G is an internal vertex, H is an internal vertex, C is internal vertex, etc. So we are talking about m-ary tree. M-ary tree. So now you see, in this particular tree, just look out for a vertex which is having maximum number of children. So you can see such vertices are A. A has 3 children. Similarly, here G has 1, 2, 3 children. Means in this tree, a, any internal vertex is not having more than 3 children. So that is why this is a 3-ary tree. This is a 3-ary tree. A tree is called full m-ary tree if every internal vertex has exactly m children. Means, because in this case you can see that this vertex has 1 children, and this vertex has 2 children, this vertex has 3 children. But think about a situation if every vertex has 3 children, every vertex has 3 children, every vertex has 3 children. So in that situation, we will call it as a full 3-ary tree. Full 3-ary tree. And if there are 2 children of every vertex, then it will be a full 2-ary tree, and a 2-ary tree is also known as the binary tree. So here, if m is 2, then it is called a binary tree. Let us see a few more examples. Are the rooted trees in this figure a full m-ary tree for some positive integer m? So let us see this T1. You see, this is the internal vertex. This is internal vertex, and it is having 2 children. This is an internal vertex. It is having 2 children. So I can say this is a full 2-ary tree or binary tree. Again, in this situation, this is an internal vertex, this is an internal vertex. Now this internal vertex is having 3 children, this internal vertex is having 3 children, this internal vertex is having 3 children. So I can say this is a full 3-ary tree. This is a full 3-ary tree. Now let us look at T3. Here this internal vertex is having 5 children, and this internal vertex is having 5 children, because we have to consider only the internal vertices, and both the internal vertices are having the 5 children. So this is a full 5-ary tree. Now look, you see in this one, so this is internal vertex, this is an internal vertex, these are 3 children, and here are 3 children, but you see again it's an internal vertex, so there are 2 children. So it is not a full m-ary tree. In fact, we can only say that maximum number of children for an internal vertex are 3. So this is simply 3-ary tree, but not full 3-ary. So you can see these examples. Another example of a tree in real life is that an organizational chart can be modeled as a tree. For example, in a software company, we have one president, then one president further is related to vice president research and development, vice president marketing, then vice president services, vice president finance. Then vice president research and development is again related to director research, director software development, director hardware development. Similarly, vice president marketing is associated to associate vice president sales, associate vice president marketing, associate or additional, whatever they will be giving the designation. Vice president services means chief field operations. Then director material management, vice president finance related to director accounting, and director MIS. MIS means management information system. So an organizational chart can be put in the form of a tree, and these are the vertices. The box represents the vertices and the edges represents the relationship between these two vertices. So obviously this is at the higher level, it is at the lower level, then these are at further lower level but are at the equal positions. Now the properties of the trees. The theorem: a tree with n vertices, has n minus 1 edges. It can be obviously seen from any tree that the number of edges in a tree is one less than the total number of the vertices. For example, you just look at the simple tree I'm talking about. How many vertices are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 vertices. 7 vertices. So according to theorem, there must be 6 edges. So let us see how many edges are there. I say that this is E1, this is E2, this is E3, this is E4, and this is E5, and this is E6. So clearly there are 6 edges. Okay, so it is obvious that in a tree the number of edges is equal to 1 less than the number of vertices. Number of vertices is 7, so number of edges is 6. Similarly here you can also verify this scenario in all the trees whichever we are giving here, so you can verify this fact. So on how to prove this result in general, it is however from the examples it is thing is obvious, but how to prove this in general? To prove this result in general, we can use the principle of mathematical induction. You know, a statement that involves natural number of vertices is a natural number, then any statement for certain natural numbers can be proved in general with the help of the principle of mathematical induction. And you know, in the principle of mathematical induction, there are 3 fundamental steps. One is the basis step, that we prove the given statement for n equal to 1. Then we assume that the statement is true for n equal to some particular integer, say n equal to k. And then the third step is that we show that the result is true for n equal to k plus 1. So the procedure we are following here. The second step, the assumption step, is known as the inductive step. You see, if I have one vertex in a graph, then definitely there is no edge. Means n is 1, then number of edges is equal to 0. So result is true, means if you are putting n equal to 1, so you are getting 1 minus 1 equal to 0 edges. So result is true for n equal to 1. Now the inductive step, the inductive means the step where we assume. The inductive hypothesis states that the result is true for n equal to k. If I say this statement is true for n equal to k, what does it means? That a tree with k vertices has k minus 1 edges. So that will be the inductive step. So that is why inductive step is here. States that every tree with k vertices has k minus 1 edges, where k is a positive integer. Now we suppose that a tree T has k plus 1 vertices. We want to show that result holds for k plus 1 vertices. Okay, if result holds for k plus 1 vertices, means we shall put n equal to k plus 1. And what should happen then? If we are taking n equal to k plus 1, then k plus 1 minus 1 means k edges. That means a tree with k plus 1 vertices must have k edges. So we shall prove this fact. So suppose we are taking a tree T And suppose this is the part here in the tree, means certain vertices, edges, etc. are there. So I'm that in all, certain things I'm not showing here. In all, there are k vertices. Now the k plus 1th vertex I am taking outside, and this is the leaf. We are calling this as a leaf. Let V is the leaf of T. This is one leaf, and let this leaf W be the parent of this leaf. So I am taking that this W be the parent of this leaf. Now you can see the whole tree consists of number k plus 1 vertices, and I want to calculate the number of edges. Edges I don't know right now, but let us see. By inductive hypothesis, because the part I have encircled here, this part consists k vertices, and by the inductive step, a tree of k vertices has k plus 1 edges. So definitely in this part we are having k plus 1 edges. But in the tree T, apart from these k plus 1 edges, we have one extra edge, WV. That means we shall have k plus 1 edge edges in the tree T. So what we have proved, that we have considered a tree with k plus 1 edges, and we have shown that k a tree with k plus 1 edges will have uh, sorry, in fact there are k minus 1 edges, k minus 1 edges, and there will be k edges, because in k minus 1 if you add this additional edge, so we have k minus 1 edges are there plus 1 edge e is there, so in total this is edges k edges in the tree T. So this completes the induction and hence the proof of the theorem. So we can see. Now one more theorem is there. A full emery tree with I internal vertices contains mi plus 1 vertices. Contains in total mi plus 1 vertices. So these are certain exercises related to the trees. The first one, which complete bipartite graph KMN, where M and N are positive integer, are trees. So you have to think about for what values of M and N the complete bipartite graph becomes trees. And second one, which of these graphs are trees, you should identify. We have already discussed the example of this type. Then the third one, answer these questions about the rooted tree illustrated over here. So certain, these are based on the definitions we have just discussed in the uh, you know in the previous slides. So that is it about it. Thank you.